let's get to the first game that we have highlighted here. The Ravens against the Titans in Tennessee. Both teams are 3-2. How are we feeling about these teams? I feel like these are both kind of fringe teams, in my opinion.
Both coming off losses last week.
Bad to like historically bad teams.
Yeah, as road favorites also going into Buffalo. Tennessee lost. Very sloppy game. And I feel like you can't lose. If you want me to take you seriously, you can't lose to Buffalo like that. Like, you got nothing going.
It's just like Tennessee's MO for some reason. Like, they can't score.
They can't put two good games in a row together,
They
Tennessee.
can't score the
ever.
football.
The wide receiver that dropped the pass that would have been the game-winning touchdown, I can't remember what his name is.
Got cut.
Yeah. That's
Really?
it.
Fire.
Goodbye.
That's dope.
Yo,
Yeah.
it was right in
Accountability.
his fucking arms. It was right in his arms.
Yeah, I would have like not even let it go that far. I would have cut him like on the sideline when he was like, "Yo, you're out. You're out." I'd be the worst GM though ever.
I mean, he said it himself. He's like, yo, this is professional football. QBs throw it and receivers catch it.
Yeah, the thing about football is when we talk about baseball, I know Nick is a huge advocate of cutting the season. Like, there's 162 games. So if you lose a game, it's just like, it's a tough one. We'll get it tomorrow. Football, if you lose a game, it's just like, that could be the difference between getting in and missing the playoffs.
Yo, think about it.
16 games.
Baseball terms, right? You lose a game in football. It's equivalent to going on a 10-game losing streak in baseball.
Yeah. Like
right? So imagine going on like a
4
4-game losing streak in the NFL. Like, people get fired, bro. It's a wrap for you.
Yeah.
You know?
I also just feel like the Titans are one of those teams that, like, they're any week you could see them just laying an egg. Like, they put up like 12.
They always
like
lay
9
eggs.
or like
And
random.
that's the thing. Like, they're
random game. No, but they're like, they'll lose games and put up 20 points, like whatever. But there'll also be those games where it's like, how the fuck did you score 9?
And they're good. I'm just gonna say, like, back to the game. They're playing the Ravens this week. A stout defense, top 5 all around in passing and defending the run. And it's just like they're bottom of the league in passing, which you think they kind of excel because Derrick Henry hasn't done shit this year. Deion Lewis has been okay, but they're still bottom third of the league in rushing. So it's just like, are we gonna see another 9 to 12 point performance of the Titans and expect them to win?
Do you know what it is with the Titans? Is their whole offense is built around running the ball in play action and letting Marcus Mariota use his legs off the play action. But if you can't run the ball successfully, then you can't run play action. I think that's what's happening with this team.
I just think everyone on the offense is mediocre. I don't think anyone's a playmaker. Like, who's a playmaker?
Corey Davis can be a playmaker.
Could be.
But Deion Lewis, like Nick was just
But
talking
even
about,
Deion Lewis, who's like, he could make big plays, like given the right circumstances, whatever. But like, you can't rely on him.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
he's just like a guy you give like some
but
volume
Nick
to and
just
hope for
went
the
on a
best.
rant about scatbacks and how Drew Brees and Drusilla and the Patriots were one of the teams you named.
Yeah.
They successfully utilized Deion Lewis.
Sure, but I'm saying like
By
he's not
throwing
good
to
enough to
him.
be like, I'm gonna rely on Deion Lewis for us to score points. Like, I don't think Corey Davis is like amazing. Maybe not yet, but he has the potential. I'm not a Marcus Mariota guy either.
Also, fast forward 1 year in advance, and James White has taken that role and succeeded. So was it the player or was it the role? That's always the
True that,
question with football. Was it
The scheme or the
like Joe Budden once said, no matter who you are, the right system will turn a role player to a superstar. That's the biggest question mark in football in general when you sign free agents. Like Le'Veon Bell, right? Why isn't he getting a lot of trade interest? Well, he runs a certain style and he runs behind the best offensive line in football,
nah.
arguably. Why not? They got 3 All-Pros in that line. That's arguably the best offensive line in football. Now, there's good offensive lines in football, so arguably they're up there, top 5 at least.
Yeah, that's
Right?
fair, yeah.
What if he goes to a team like the Jets, where they're bottom 5, maybe bottom
they're down
10?
there.
They've been playing a little better. They're good at run blocking, terrible at pass blocking. But what happens? Like, does Le'Veon Bell just become a guy? You don't know, because he has a certain style of run that he's been cultivating. You know what I mean? With the
Behind
same line.
guys.
And that line, this is the 3rd year in a row they're playing with the same guys. That's very rare.
I mean, in Le'Veon Bell's situation, I also think that he just has a lot of skills, so it's not really gonna like.
Yeah, but I feel the same way. Like, not to that level, but Deion Lewis has a lot of skills as well.
Yeah, but like I
like
said, I
he's-
don't think that. I think Deion Lewis is a good addition to a offense that has like a guy. He can't be the guy. Like, he's a good addition.
Derrick Henry can't be the guy. That's
Well,
the problem.
he definitely can't be the guy.
That's why things aren't.
That's the softest big man I've ever seen.
And
Like,
you
I'll
lose
never say it
Delaney
to his
Walker,
face, don't
which
get me
is
wrong.
that's a safety blanket, and he's one of the better tight ends in the league. So that's a huge loss too. And then, you're expecting Corey Davis to take on a role that I don't think he's necessarily prepared for yet. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. It could be Marcus Mariota. I don't know. I don't know. I think he's just very underwhelming.
They're going through a lot. Like Rashard Matthews was a big guy in that offense last year. He's gone. Delaney Walker, he's not around. So it's like, it's tough. Tywan Taylor's catching passes.
They're just underwhelming.
They are. And you know what it is?
They are.
It's Mariota. Like, I thought Mariota under the tutelage of I keep wanting to call him Nagy. Matt LaFleur. I thought he was going to be a little better. But nothing has really changed. His mechanics are still a little off. He's still a little late. He's still inaccurate. And that's the problem. If you he doesn't have a cannon. So if you're going to be you can't be inaccurate if you don't have a cannon. And he's inaccurate.
Yeah.
You got to hit your receivers, Doc.
Titans the last couple of years, even under when they had Mariota quarterbacking, they tend to play down to their competition. Right? Like, how do they go into Kansas City last year in the playoffs and they beat them? How do they, for the most part, not get the doors blown off? Sure, they lose by 2 touchdowns to the Patriots, but New England scored in the playoffs late, right? They beat the Eagles at home. But then they go and they lay an egg. Like, you can't, good teams, they don't lay eggs to bad teams. Like, the Rams went into Seattle last week, where Seattle that was a revenge game for them. Last year when they played them, Gurley had that, wild-ass game where you had 3-4 touchdowns and, 200 yards in total. And they had that game circled. And what did the Rams do? They snuck out a victory. And if you want to be a serious team and be a contender, you can't lose games like that to Buffalo.
For sure.
To your point as well, I feel like this is the kind of game where Tennessee can go and score 30 on the team that's top 5 in the league in both passing and running defense.
I think it's a good
that's
spot
their
for
MO.
them, too.
That's their MO. They play up to their competition as well as down.
Baltimore's playing their 3rd straight road game, too, which you rarely see in the NFL. So they could be tired. That's a lot of travel. 3 straight weeks of travel. So we'll see. They might be able to catch them, coming into their house.
I feel like both teams don't do it for me. I think both teams are good defensively.
I feel like they're mirror images almost.
And both teams kind of just lay an egg. You've been talking about Crabtree in the past. Crabtree is top 10 in the league in drops this year. He's having the case of drop season.
Dropped a TD last week.
And that's another drop that cost the team a win.
Yeah, and John Brown is their best offensive weapon, I would say.
I'd agree.
I feel differently about the Ravens. I don't think that this is your father's Ravens. I think that they have an explosive offense if they allow it to be explosive. John Brown needs to continue to do what John Brown was doing. That game 2 weeks ago on primetime, he could have went for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. There is a couple throws that just missed. Buck Allen out of the backfield is a really good weapon. He's a good receiver out of the backfield. Alex Collins is a bruiser. Willie Snead in the slot. He's not going to wow you, but he's a really good possession receiver. And they have some tight ends that can catch balls. The key is going to be Joe Flacco. He so far in the first 4 weeks, he looked like he was having a resurgence, and then kind of shit the bed last week against the Cleveland defense, who, not for nothing, they were on the road and they were playing against a team that has a really good defense. So you can't really blame them for shitting the bed there. So I think this is a good bounce back spot for both of these teams. I think that I think the over under is 40. This is the type of game that screams out to me sometimes. Everything says under, take the over.
Yeah, like you said, Hayden Hurst is someone to watch. It was first game active last week. He only had 1 catch, but they've utilized the tight end a ton in the past. Back to just going back to the Todd Heap days.
Yeah,
with Joe Flacco, the end of the Todd Heap days. But that'd be interesting to see. That'd be a new dynamic to that offense. Be throwing in Hayden Hurst, who was a top pick for them. So that's who I'm watching this game, especially against the defense. Like I said, the Titans have a good defense in themselves, coached by Vrabel, but I want to see if he can get involved a little bit. Hayden Hurst, that's who I'm watching this game.